Good morning.
Good morning.
I feel like my voice always sounds so weird when I say that. Maybe it's because it's like the first thing I say when I get out of bed on Wednesday morning, Remy. So I'm not sure.
I think it's like the vocal fry of being up early too. I know my voice sounds different by the end of the conversation than it does at the beginning.
Because we haven't warmed up.
Yeah, for sure.
So I had like a one time in a million thing happen to me yesterday. I was getting on a horse, and as I put my foot in the stirrup, she belly kicked a fly, and guess who she got instead of the fly?
That's always scary, man. You're lucky she didn't hang a foot in your stirrup.
Oh my gosh. I feel so old because it really hurts, and I don't want to be a pansy, but I'm like, I'll look down at it, I'll be like, Ron, do you think it's getting worse? I feel like you can really see an outline. Yep, it's definitely there. God. How's the week going?
It's going pretty good. It's really hot this week. Good. We have a heat wave warning, which is even hot for us. So they canceled all the boys' after school practices. It's hot, man. It's like real hot. It was 109 yesterday, which is like really hot.
It is cooling off here, and not gonna lie, it sucks because it means this summer's coming to an end. That I noticed the other day that the leaves are starting to change color, and I love fall, but it's bittersweet because I love summer. So
I'm ready for it to be sweatshirt weather for us, which is like not cold, but
you would like what we're having now.
Yes. I just don't want what comes after what you're having now.
Same. You had horse show this weekend?
Yes.
Last weekend?
It was good. We had a USTPA at the house. We got some guys qualified for finals. My sons rode. That was fun. So they're starting to ride more and more. It's a lot of fun to watch them ride.
Oh, you know what comes with them riding more and more? Bigger
entry
bills.
Fees?
Yeah.
Yeah.
James, I don't want to go to the office. You go to the office. No, you go to the office.
James never wants to be there when people check out because he always feels guilty. And I was like, they knew what they were signing up for, man.
Oh, funny. All right. So Remy and I decided, since we've been kind of digging into deeper topics, what is this, episode number 9, I think?
It's technically 10 because we had the introductory episode where we're just like, this is why we're here and why we're doing it. But it's episode 9 of Real Topics.
Yeah. So we thought we'd bring it back a little bit today and do something a little bit more lighthearted, and it will give you guys an opportunity to get to know us a little better. So we thought that we'd talk about a few of our favorite things, and it's kind of like a mixed board of things that we're going to talk about. So should we get started, Remy?
Let's dive right in.
Okay. Socks. What is your favorite kind of socks? Are you a knee-high girl, or?
So I'm pretty high socks. I wear pretty high socks because I wear really tall boots. And I don't wear tall boots like out of a fashion state. Well, it's not out of fashion.
You do too, don't you?
Yeah, because they look so good tucked under my boots. And James always like, why do you have like the fanciest tops if no one ever sees them? But part of it is I grew up riding English with tall boots, so I don't like boots that hit me mid-calf. I want my boots to be really tall. So I have to have tall boots. I sometimes wear the compression socks, but like the cool-looking compression socks, not like the old lady like nylon socks.
So what do cool compression socks look like, Remy?
They're like, I wish they had a pair right here. They're like black with neon purple stripes on them, and but aside from that, I buy mine in bulk at Costco, and they're the Puma socks that are reinforced along the bottom. And I don't think they're supposed to go as high as I pulled them, but I pulled them to up over my calf every day. So now they're tall socks. I don't know if they're supposed to be tall socks, but they're tall socks for me.
I'm the same. Well, when I'm wearing boots. I hate wearing socks otherwise. I'm usually barefoot, or I don't, sockless, I should say. I'm not barefoot, but I'm definitely sockless. But when I'm wearing boots, I wear really tall ones, and I just buy, I wear Brandon socks because I think socks are like the devil.
Yeah, so I wear, like I said, the Puma ones that are like white with like the little jaguar on them or the Puma on them. And then James wears the other white ones from Costco that I think are the Costco brand with like the gray toe and the red stripe. And they're a little too thick for me. Like, I'm picky. You'll see it today. I'm picky about a lot of things. Like I say a lot, I let a lot of things go. It's because I surround myself. Like I wear the things I want to wear so that I'm comfortable all the time.
I am kind of weird about feel though, too. Like, well, I could wear a heavier sock, I feel like, but I like ones that have like a silky or something like that feel to them. I don't like the ones, like the nasty like Fruit of the Loom or Hanes ones that when you wash them, they get like all
they pill up.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like I wouldn't be able to wear that because that feel would make me ugh.
No, and then like when I wear tennis shoes or I run, I have to wear like the running socks that say like left and right, so they're like footed and tight. Again, like I'm picky. I'm super okay with it. So
you are not a basic white girl, my friend. I'm totally a basic white girl. We've had this one asked to us before. Saddles. What is your favorite brand of saddle? And I'm guessing that you've got a super long explanation of what you like.
I do. And I'm like, okay, so when we were poor, we couldn't afford them. But James used to ride horses, like help Roger Ford, a friend of ours, at shows. And he comes home. This is like almost 20 years ago now. And he goes, man, he has these saddles and they're so nice. You need to try them. And they were coat saddles and they're fantastic. And so I like saved up all my money. And for Christmas one year, I bought him a coat saddle, like a very particular coat saddle. And all of our saddles, including our client saddles, are now based off of that saddle. It is a Buster Welch tree. It's a square skirt with an in-skirt rigging. And it doesn't matter if they're new or old. Like we still ride in the one from, I think it was like 17 years ago. We still ride in it. I broke my mouth.
Why do you still ride in it?
Because it's perfect. It's perfect. Like so like we have like I said, we have the longer square skirt with the in-skirt rigging, which for you that don't ride, it's how you keep your saddle connected. But because it's a square skirt with an in-skirt rigging, it lays better across their back. You get better contact. It just feels like you're home every time you sit inside of them. And now all of our clients have them. So even when you jump on their horses, you're like, yes, this is how I feel. But before we could afford coats, we rode in Scott Thomas saddles, and I really like them. I still really like them to rope in, and we cowboy in them if I don't have a coat saddle around. But I spend a lot of money on my saddles because I spend a lot of time in them. Like we had someone telling me one time, like, oh, how can you afford to do that? And she was looking at me from out of a very expensive custom cowboy hat. And I was like, I'd rather spend the money you spent on that hat on my saddle.
Yeah.
Because what do you guys ride in?
A little bit of everything. I'll be honest. Coats would be our favorite. Brandon's favorite is definitely coats. And I'm pretty sure it's the same riggings that you have. The square skirt, Buster Welch tree. I am pretty sure that it is the same. In fact, we just had one like completely gone through and redone because it too is old. But we try to take good care of it. And yeah, it feels like home. I agree. I can ride in a lot of different brands of saddles. If they fit a horse good, it doesn't much matter to me, but I like one that is broken in. Sorry, I've got my charm stuck in my hair. I hate breaking in new saddles. I will say we just bought a couple saddle houses, and they do not they don't feel like a brand new saddle. They feel like they've been rode in coming out of the box, which is very unusual because most saddles do not ride like that.
And that's what
my favorite saddle is.
No, you can say what you're gonna say.
What?
I'll say it later. I'll say it after you say it. Your favorite saddle is?
Oh, my most favorite saddle, like 20 some years old, looks like a dog's ass, but it is so comfy and it does not have back cinch, and I love that. It's easy and light for me to throw on because some of these damn saddles are so heavy these days. It's hard for me to throw them on and off all day.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, so the saddle that the original coat is like 7/8 tooled. It was rough at a rough out seat at one point. It's slick now. And I will never do that again. Like all of ours now are straight rough out because I just don't want to sit there and clean all the tooling on one. So, because we're lazy. I mean, and they get dirty, but it's like
you that.
Like, and we do, like, it's a ranchy looking saddle, right? It's the long square skirt. It's all rough out with our brands on the conchos, but they're so comfortable. And even brand new out of the box, like you step on them. And that's what's nice about the coat, like any custom saddle, but the Coats custom saddles are all made from one hide. So you don't have thicker pieces of leather anywhere on them. Like they just feel really good.
I was going to ask that. Do you prefer smooth or rough out? I kind of like smooth.
I like Coats rough out, which is not really rough out. Like it's like a buffed leather, right? It's not like the old school rough out, like where you get raw on the inside of your legs because it was like rough on you. And this one's not that.
So rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like, I know it's not everybody's preference, but I like to be able to slide around in my saddle, and I like a little bigger seat so I have room to go with my horse.
No, and we ride a little bigger seat anyway. Like, I always laugh because all these team ropers are big, you know, and they ride in a 14.5-inch seat. And I was like, that's small. That's what I put my son in, is a 14.5. We ride in 16.
Oh my God. Yeah. The only one who has a 14-inch seat around here would be Bronson. We ride in 16s or 17s. Yeah. Reins. I'm really particular on my reins.
I am very particular about my reins. So we buy our reins, and I wish I had written down his name, but there's a guy in Nebraska that goes to the NFR every year. And they're like 3/4-inch reins that are, so there's like a nice thickness, and we buy 7/8 inch, and they're just a little bit thicker in your hand, and they're super weighted at the end. So the first time we run into this guy, I go, "Hey, if I buy all of these reins, will you give me a discount?" He goes, "No." And I was like, "Oh, well, it's worth asking." He goes, "Yeah, but the only reason you want to buy all of them is how nice they are." And it's true. I come home with at least 30 pairs every year because we sell them throughout the year. Because same thing, like you put your hands on them, you're like, this is what I want. They're just nicely weighted on a snaffle. They feel good on the bridle. I ride thinner reins on like an actual bit, like a correction bit, but they got to be buttery. And ours, I don't have time to clean my tack a lot. I don't have time to oil them, and I have abused those reins. I've left them out in the sun and the rain. And we cowboys, so they stay hooked. Yeah, like they stay hooked over horns, and they still feel all buttery and smooth in your hands. So what's your preferred rein length and width?
I think it's Cowboy Collection is the one that we get, or something very similar, because we too buy in bulk, and they have to have the buttery, soft, smooth. I don't know what the I don't know. What did you like the
we
size?
I
don't know what the size is. Yeah. I don't like the real thin ones. I could never ride in those, and I don't like them if they're real thick either. It's the in-betweeners, and I'm guessing that's what it is that you use.
Yeah, it's like, I like it to be, I gotta get to my camera. I like them to be thick this way, but thin in your hand. Like I like it to be able to lay across your hand. And the reason we like the weight in ours is so that when you shake your reins loose, it drops down and you get a nice straight.
Mine have to be weighted on the ends too. I have a feeling that you like a little thicker rein than I do. I kind of like, I don't know how to show you. Probably like that, like wide, width-wise, but only like that.
Yeah, I want them very
wise.
thin. I want like the height very thin and the width so it lays just flat. Like I used to ride in really square reins, or very the same thing going back to English when I was younger. I rode in super thin reins because I was used to having very flat, thin reins in my hand. And then I found other things that felt better, so now I switched to them.
But the feel for me is like where it's at. If you've rode in cheap reins or you've felt cheap reins, I like a rein that'll slide through my hands, because you get to that point where you can just run your hands up and down them. You can't do that with a cheap rein because your hand will stick to the rein as it's going, you're feeding it through.
Yeah, so it's like I call it like shaking out your reins, right? Like if I want to go like that, I want my reins just to slide through, and that's where the weight and the softness comes into it. One time, again, when we were younger, we bought a bunch of reins in bulk, and they never felt great. And I tried everything. I soaked them in oil. I did all the things. And James was running to the pen and went to tip his horse's nose back, like not even pull hard, and the rein snapped. Like. And then so we finished the run, and within the next 2 weeks, every set of those reins we had something broke on them, like broke in the middle, like not even at the mouthpiece, like it would just like break in the middle. So we didn't really save ourselves any money buying those reins in bulk.
No, it's a learning process.
It's a money process too.
Yeah. Music. What's your favorite music?
Okay, so that's a tough one because my playlist sounds like I have multiple personality disorder. So, and I grew up like I was actually talking to someone about this the other day. Like I grew up on the West Coast where you listen to a lot of stuff, and like all your radio stations, even your alternative stations, played everything. So probably my favorite band, there's going to be a lot. Sublime. Nirvana.
Oh my God, like super heavy.
Yeah, Beastie Boys, NoFX, Chris Ledoux, Janis Joplin, Bob Dylan, the Beatles, old jazz standards. So when I tell you that I like, and then like 90s gangster rap, like I bump it hard. So when I tell you that, when people are like, oh, what would you like to listen to? Whatever. If it is good and I can move to it, like I'm down.
Remy, I thought maybe we could travel together, but after hearing your playlist,
it will be a musical education. It would be a musical education. Ask anyone that drives along with me. They're like, this is different. But you will come to appreciate all those things once you spend time in the truck. It's just, I grew up at the end.
I have a very wide...
Hello?
Did I lose you?
Oh, I hear you now. So please you have a very wide.
Okay. Oh, I have a very wide range of music that I like. I love music, and I love like happy music. So the first bands that you talked about, like Sublime and that, I would have a hard time identifying with that. And I am an oddity because I detest all 90s music. I don't really like any of it. I know what I don't like, and it's 90s music. I've never been a fan of it. But other than that, my Pandora playlist would include, what is I wrote it down. I was on a boat that day. That's my station. I love that. Super fun and happy. And I like a lot of the Red Dirt Texas music, I think they call it. Not even sure, but something like that.
No, and it's like I said, like, so if I was going to listen to country music, it would probably always, like, Chris Ledoux is like my favorite country artist. And I like older music too. Like I do. I like a lot of older music. But it's funny because people say that about like Sublime and Nirvana, but like you listen to those bass lines and the guitar solos, and like they're fantastic. Like they're amazing. So you just have to find like a Bad Fish by Sublime is my ringtone. My ringtone for James is Santa Monica by Everclear. So that's, that's my musical choice. And then Weezer. But if you don't like 90s music, you're not going to like Weezer either. And that's kind of happy. Weezer's uplifting. We lost Breck. And I'm only saying this because at some point this is going on the internet, and it is not my internet. I will have you know. I'm just hanging out here. When Breck's gone, you get to see all my paint problems.
Hello again.
You know why? It's because you said bad things about dead musicians. That's why.
I guess I did. My God.
No.
I do like your older stuff that you said, like Bob Dylan. I like all that. I have a wide array, but 90s is a definite no for me.
That's what I said. Like, but Weezer's uplifting. They're good. I love Weezer too.
Oh my God, Remy.
But I think what it is too is like, even if you're listening to me, it's like I don't listen to. It's not like it's like all grunge songs, right? It'll be like Bad Fish followed by Look at You Girl, and then like Obladi. And so it's just, you never get stuck with anything for very long because I don't want to stay stuck in any artist. And like, I love country music, and I say this as a cowgirl, I cannot listen to it all day.
No, I'm in agreement with that,
because it gets to be the same sound over and over again. But like Zach Bryan's new album, the whole album is like I can't think of what it was, but like the Orange song, but that whole album is fantastic. But James was listening to it with me. He's like, this is a very depressing album. Like,
I like happy music. Leg protection for your horse. What do you prefer? Do you nothing? Do you do bell boots? Do you do bell boots and SMBs?
It depends on the animal. So our two good mares, if you put bell boots on them, they either act like they're hobbled or they clump around like elephants. So for as much as I would like to protect their delicate little legs, we just don't put anything on them. I have some horses that have to go in front and back boots, that have to go in skids. So it really does depend on the horse, but we use Weaver a lot. And then I used to, like, especially the winter, I use polo wraps. Like, again, that whole English growing up. It's also a lot easier to clean polo wraps when they get dirty than the clean sports medicine boots.
I get this question asked so often, like, what do you prefer? And I am a big stickler about legs. And, well, we use bell boots for everything. Like, not very often that you don't see us using bell boots. Turnout, showing, all of that. I have really big opinions though on front and back boots. I too wrap legs because I came from a similar world as you, and so it is easier to, if you know how to wrap a leg correctly, I would rather do that. However, you have to be so careful with it, and I don't think that that's what people understand. A pet peeve of mine is, and I just think it comes from the awareness, like people just don't understand what is actually happening. It's a long day for those horses to stand in those boots, and it's hot. And even if it's not hot, they are hot because they're working all day.
And the boots are made out of neoprene. Like, that does not breathe. It is hot.
No. And even wraps do not breathe. So, like, I think it's great. And I'm talking from a branch sorting and team pinning standpoint, because a lot of the other performance cow horse events, they would work their horses in them and then take them off, give them a break, right? Give their legs a break.
They also don't stay on their horse all day.
Correct. Right? And that's the reason they can do that.
Yeah. And I will say, I think our guys out here tend to be a little more aware of it. And part of it is because we are hot, right? So they'll go make a couple runs and then pull boots and hang them on their saddle, let their legs dry. But you see a lot of people wrap legs incorrectly. You see a lot of people leave a hot boot on all day, which creates a bandage bow.
Oh my gosh. I know. And you're just heating up those tendons all day. You think that you're protecting
and the other thing
them.
too is, like, So we usually put on a show in Winnemucca, and like the ground is fantastic up there, but it's very fine. So I always tell my clients, don't wear boots up here. And they go, why? I said, because it's so fine, it gets underneath the boot. And now not only do you have heat, you have abrasion from sand. It's just different. Like,
Yeah.
and again, like some people and some horses need them. There's like, we used to have some horses that you had to just gift wrap every time you rode them. And I remember I was trying a horse at a cutting barn, and I asked this guy's riding 2-year-olds and some 3-year-olds, and he didn't have boots on. And I had just come from the reining trainer where, you know, you wrapped everything, like all 4 legs, they got wrapped.
Yeah.
And probably more. And I go, why don't you put boots on them? And he goes, because I want them to hit themselves a little bit to figure out how to get fast with their feet. He's like, I don't want them to get hurt, but I want them to figure out how to get fast with their feet.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I am so frustrated with bell boots because, like I said, we use bell boots daily. It's definitely a staple. I'm so frustrated because my favorites, I had a favorite, and it was the ProTac. I think they were Classic Equine ProTac, and they had like a high top on them that went around their ankle that was all padded, and then it was a hard back, and they were perfect because bell boots, if you're using them daily, they do not last long. They're not meant to last long. And they discontinued them. And they were heavy, and they weren't heavy where it restricted the horse's movement, but they were heavy enough that they hung straight. Yeah. They did not turn. And I shouldn't even say this, prove me wrong, I guess, Iconoclast. I used to love Iconoclast, and now I can't keep them together for very long at all. They turn terribly. They won't hang straight on my horses. So I did just buy some new ones that Classic Equine came out with, and I like those, but it feels like such a struggle.
No, we used to use a lot of Professional's Choice, and then, like I said, we switched to Weaver. Actually, we switched to RES, and then they got bought out by Weaver. And my thing was they were cheaper than Professional's Choice, and they lasted just as long, right? Like that was the thing for me is if you're all only going to last a month, I'm not paying a lot of money for you. And my big pet peeve too is like all the no-turn bell boots that have the little notch in the back. They still turn, and now you have a notch like pushing on your horse's foot on the side.
I know. Jeans.
Okay, so this is even when I was thin, I'm not thin now, but even when I was thin, I always wore men's cinch jeans. Like especially like so Cruel Girl used to have very heavy denim jeans like back in the day, and they're not. But
not
what like
more.
A light day for me is 5 horses. A heavy day is 20 horses. I need them to not stretch. Like I need them to stretch in the way that real denim stretches, not the way that women's denim stretches. And I need it to be thick, and I need it to last. I need it to last for me crawling through fences. I need it to by fences I mean barbed wire. I need it to last for me getting off and on. So I wear cinch men's, either Carter's or white label. James wears a different men's jeans from Cinch, but I like a heavier, thicker denim.
I am particular on my jeans. I don't typically like Western jeans. I haven't worn Western jeans in a really long time. I think I have one pair that I like because I like a wide leg and I love a little stretch. So my brand is Can.
Nice. No, I think the hard part for me with the stretch is it whiskers really bad. Also because my thighs rub together because I'm not a petite girl. But for me, it's like, and I hate, like your jeans just get perfect, and then you go to step on one, and it rips like right under your butt, and you're like. Then I was trying to tape them. I was like, I can make it last longer. I bought elastic one, like lycra material one time, because I had no jeans, and it was right after I had one of the boys, and I just took like the liquid stitch, like the hot liquid stitch, and just put like lycra on the inside, and I got crazy patterns like unicorns and
on your butt cheeks,
like because like it would just be like when it would stretch when you get on, because once you got on it would stay together. But I was sitting on a fence one time and someone's like, "Are you in boxers?" Like, because I didn't realize that they saw it, and I was like, "Nah, it's just the pattern of my." It's better than seeing my ass hanging out. So there was that.
I like a heavier jean too, and I feel like the cans are heavier. And honestly, like, I feel like before I switched to these, and I've been wearing these for years, I would rip out like right underneath of my ass cheek.
It's like from the inside your thigh right underneath, and it's where all that pressure comes from when you step on.
It is, yes. And I would rip out right there on those Western jeans, but I like kind of a trouser fit. So my jeans are looser, and I haven't had that with them because they don't really get thin. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. In my youth, again, when I was thinner, I used to buy men's jeans. I also like I like a lot of stack at the bottom of my jeans. Like I wear all my jeans by 38s or 40s.
You're a lot taller than I am, so
yeah. But I'm not that tall though. So James wears like a 34. I wear a 38 to 40 because I like a lot of stack at the bottom of my jeans. It's horrible when I walk around without boots and spurs on.
Yeah, you have to cuff them.
Yeah. But I used to wear like Levi's, and then I used to wear a lot of the old cinch jeans, but then I'd take them into the tailor and get the zipper shortened so that they weren't just like up around my rib cage. I like that now. It hides my mom pooch, but when I was younger, I just kept them lower. And they were cheaper. Like I used to wear green labels from Cinch, which I don't wear anymore because they're just super baggy. But they were like $29.
Well, I feel like the cans are pretty reasonable in today's terms because they're like my most expensive ones are $45.
Yeah, like what is it with girls' jeans too? Like I'm just like, man, this is too much money for jeans.
Yeah. I could never spend $100 on a pair of jeans. Things I would never do. That I'm not judging anybody who does because they look super cute. But
look, I wear $19 shirts from Amazon. I'm not spending $100 on my jeans.
Shein, $9. Have you checked out Shein? Another one of my favorites. Newly.
So I'm like, okay, so I'm one of those people like when I find something I like, I buy a lot of it.
All
so
colors.
Like it's Amazon essentials. They're just like these nice button downs. Sometimes they look wrinkly because I don't iron my stuff, but they fit really well. They're super cheap. They're light because like in California, it's hot. And so wearing a tank top or short sleeves is for some people. It's not for me. But like you get even hotter because like we are dry. So you just need to keep the sun off of you. So I wear all these long sleeve button downs, not because I'm trying to look super ranchy. It keeps the sun off of me. And then like I'm also picky, like, and I like straight cotton. I don't like the sun shirts make me itchy. I don't like that feeling, right? And then the other sun shirts are like kind of clingy. And again, not just because I'm overweight, even when I was thinner, like that's not my style. Like it's not, right? I don't like form-fitting things. Like I look like kind of a poor hobo most of the
time. Favorite coffee?
Starbucks. And like I'm so plain. Like so I get a venti hot latte almost every day. Or James brings me a venti hot latte every day. And they're always like, do you want anything in that? No. Like I don't want anything. I want coffee and really frothy milk or coffee black. But even my Keurig gets all Starbucks pods because I like smooth, dark coffee. And then Pete's Coffee, which I don't think you guys have back there. Pete's Coffee was like a very West Coast thing. It's amazing. It doesn't matter what you have from there. It is like the smoothest, like buttery cocoa-based coffee.
I have to have something in mine, and it's usually caramel. So if I'm going to a coffee shop, which I like Caribou, which I think that's a Midwest thing, Caribou, or wherever. I like coffee from McDonald's even. My favorite coffee is from Casey's gas station, which you also don't have. I'm sorry for because they have the best everything. But if I go to Casey's, I do like 3/4 cup of coffee and then the rest is French vanilla. What the hell? French vanilla cappuccino.
Okay, so I will say like for my go-to on the road is like the trashy French vanilla, like where you push the button and it's like, oh, only fill your cup 3/4 up, where it's like the water and then it froths down.
Yeah, like the cappuccino, right?
Yeah.
You drink a whole one of them?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
But
you like sweet, so I can't believe. Or I
usually drink it at like 2:00 in the morning, so I need sugar and caffeine.
That'll get also, you somewhere.
So I love, like, pumpkin pie is my jam. I love pumpkin pie, and I hate pumpkin spice coffee. Like, I can't do it, and it's like my favorite flavor of pie, and I'm just like, I should really like this, but I don't.
So have you had like pumpkin coffee? Do you like that? I like that.
Yeah, see, like, it's hit and miss for me. If I have a pumpkin flavored something, is a pumpkin pie shake from Baker's, which is a Inland Empire in California fast food place, and they literally put a piece of pumpkin pie in a vanilla shake and they mix it. So there's pieces of crust and pumpkin pie. It is so good.
I'm not even going to tell you what I think that sounds like.
It sounded bad to me until I had one. The same place also makes fresh strawberry shakes. Like, they put like legitimate fresh strawberries in and mix it. It's so good. Their milkshakes.
Well, that sounds okay, but the pumpkin pie thing is taking it really far.
Right? It's more like a Blizzard from Dairy Queen is what it's like. It's not so much a milkshake. So
it just sounds terrible. I love pumpkin pie. Are you a cold coffee girl?
Kind of, but so I say this again, it's hot, right? And I keep saying that it's hot because it'll be like, we'll start lessons and it'll be like 95 degrees and James brings me a hot coffee and my clients are like, today of all days would be the day for iced coffee. And I was like, iced coffee for me is after lunch and now before 4:00, because I can't drink coffee after 4, because now it makes me stay up all night. Like, I've now
I can drink coffee all day.
Yeah, I used to be the person that could drink coffee and go right to sleep. I can't do it anymore. And it happened within the last month and a half where I was like, oh, this now makes me.
I love iced coffee. Iced coffee on a hot day is amazing. It is a gift from God. Caramel macchiato. So good. Smells.
So my favorite scent is, there's a tree in California, or it's like in the Southwest. It's called a Palo Verde. It looks very similar to a mesquite, except for it's green instead of woody. And they have these like super delicate yellow flowers. It's my favorite scent in the entire world. To the point that I know
that yours was going to be like super extravagant and intrinsic.
It's so like, but it's like, it is and it isn't. Like, you've probably seen them 100 times, especially when you're in Arizona. They're like they look like mesquite trees. They're green and they're spiky and they're horrible when you ride through them, but like, they smell so good. And so I found this guy in the Midwest or maybe it's a girl, I don't know. They will make a fragrance out of anything. And so I get Palo Verde perfume from them, and I have Palo Verde lotion. And then of course I love lavender. Like, I don't know who doesn't love lavender, but I kind of like not musky scents. I like more masculine scents, right? Like the fresh, like when you're looking at candles, right? Like, it's like the forest or the fresh rain, but I don't like really floral scents. Like, so I do, like, if I have like a flower, it's lavender, or I guess freesia is lighter, but it's still, and lilac, but I don't really like roses. I don't like light scents. I like.
Well, that's because you're not a basic white girl, Remy.
It's true. Like, it's not my. But it's crazy too, because music and scent are the same thing, because there's memories tied to scents and there's memories tied to music. And so for me, I think that I don't know. So what are your favorite scents? You talked about them last week with aromatherapy.
Oh no, if it smells like fall, I'm in. Like,
and see, I don't like those scents either. Like, I don't like the apple pie candles. I don't like the pumpkin pie candles. Like,
yeah, I like it all. And you come here with like a freaking, I had to create this smell from this tree. It's like such an amazing little answer. And I'm just like, yeah, no, if it smells like fall, like, we're good.
If it smells like Uggs and pumpkin spice latte, I'm in.
That's me. Yep. Pretty basic.
Oh, and maybe it's because like we're surrounded. So I think part of that, why I'm like anti those things, is we're surrounded by them in California in stores, right? Because we don't really have fall scents. Like, my leaves might not finish turning until December. And so I think like we really manufacture like that fall scent. And then I'm like, I don't want to smell that. Like, that's not for me.
I'm not saying that I'd want to wear it, and I wouldn't want my house necessarily to, I wouldn't want to burn a candle in my house that made my house smell like this, but I love this. I love the smell of like leather.
I love that smell too. But again, that's that richer smell. And I love the smell of real leather.
I do too. I was gonna say there's a difference in the leather I'm talking about, because
so it's like, yeah, when like we walk, like when I walk into the leather shop, or you walk into your trailer after it's been hot, your saddles are in there. Like, I also love the smell of horse sweat, which most people don't, but I love that smell. Like, it's such a grounding smell.
So I've got something on that too. Like, I think it's like in the spring, horses smell differently because of their hair falling out and new hair growing in. I love that smell. They have a different smell in the spring, in the Midwest anyway. And I love that smell. It reminds me of being little. Okay, moving on from smells. Cowboy hats. Once again, I'm sure it's a very intrinsic answer.
So I wear the company I wear right now is called Allen's Lids, and I only found it when James and I went back to the NCHA fraternity, and I needed a straw hat because before that I wore Rodeo Kings, and like I wear my hat every day outside. They get trashed, and everyone had felts there, and very expensive felts, and I was like, this bitch does not wear felts. And now I have a felt because of Allen's Lids, but I never wore felts because, again, like, and friends in Texas would make fun of me. They're like, oh, it's felt hat season. I was like, it's still 95 degrees where I live. I'm not wearing California. A felt. Like, if it's cold enough for me to wear a felt in California, I'm wearing a beanie. I'm not wearing a cowboy hat. Like, so
you just sounded so Canadian. Did you say beanie?
Yeah, they call them beanies, though. Hat. They call them something else.
They call them toques.
That's what it is, yeah. So we call them beanies in California. I also can't wear beanies because they do the same thing as my baseball hat. Like, they just slowly ride up, and I look like such a little weirdo. But so I found his hats, and I liked Rodeo King because they had the sweatband inside. And I go, man, I don't want to go back to wearing a leather banded straw hat. And the guy that owns it was like, just try it. You'll like it. I fell in love with the straw hats. I got a bunch of people out here to buy them. They stay super nice. They fit. And it's that same thing, right? The hat bands on the inside are so buttery. Like, you don't sweat through them. Like, they're just so nice. And then this year at the NFR, I was talking to him. He's like, just try a felt. Just try one of my felts. If you don't like it, no problem. And then I wore that sucker all winter. Like, it was heavy, like just heavy enough that it stayed on, but so comfortable. And then James switched to them, but James was always a Resistol guy. Like, he's like very like tried and true, but he switched to an Allen's Lid also. But you know, you gotta wear whatever makes you happy. Like, a lot of people don't like my hat shape either. I'm okay with it. Like, I'm good.
I have a very odd shaped head, and I have a very small bean. Like, my Bronson and I can wear, we used to be able to wear the same hat. Now his head's bigger than mine. So I just cannot keep a hat on. Like, I finally had to go to pulling the leather hat band down when I ride, because it's going to come between that, or I'm going to have to purchase a stampede string. And I really don't want a stampede string.
So have you tried not the bobby pins on the side that give you headaches?
Yeah.
If you click your bobby pin in right here, because it's the lift from the front that makes your hats come off, my hat never comes off no matter how windy it is.
In the back?
Just one little deal right up there.
So I've been pulling, you know what I'm talking about? I
don't like that look because, again, like, if I'm going to wear a hat,
either.
But I wear my hats, again, I wear my hats all day.
It's a little unconventional and a little ranchy, but it works. And I don't like to wear my hat like that all the time. I mean, I like a felt hat. And I wear Americans. I like the color pecan. I have a narrow face, so I like it. My hat's always badly shaped because I've got boys, and I don't really take the best care of that thing, and I should. But
it's like, so I remember I was getting a hat shape one time at the NFR, and the guy's like, okay, how do you want it? And like, I like a brick top, so I like the square top, which is not particularly feminine. That's fine by me. And I go, I want it like high and tight, like not Western pleasure.
Oh, I want a Western pleasure look.
So I don't want it Western pleasure, but I don't want a cattleman's. I was like, and he's like, well, that's kind of like West Texas. I was like, no, because I need a little more square in the front. But I have a very specific look to my hats, and it is what it is. I mean, but it's all personal preference, and I think too, you find what works for you. Like, I have a square jawline, so if I go too tight, I look super masculine, but I still like it to be like really sharp. James jokes that I should hang out on the reservation out here because that's what our guys wear. Is the Are you okay?
I'm really into like vintage old hats or fashion hats. And my mother-in-law gave me this weekend, and I feel like if it had a different hat band, James might like this hat because it's definitely a cattleman's hat from, I'm guessing, the 1970s, and it's a resistal. Oops, this is the front. Can you?
I can see it.
Is this not cool? It's got a little, I need to get it popped out in the back, but that's workable. But I feel like it's a little shorty. It's so fun. Love it. And it is older than sin. Can you see that? So anywho. Well, Remy, I have got to get my son off to a dentist appointment. So anxiety kicking in a little bit here.
No, and then the only thing I'm going to say is because someone asked us about it is, what do you do outside of what we do? Riding horses for fun.
I have no other hobbies outside of this.
I let me see if I can get my camera to pick it up. I hang out with my Cricut a lot. I make things on the Cricut.
Yeah, Remy's really creative. I don't
have time for other things, I think. Like,
I like to, if Remy and I aren't talking or I'm not doing something outside, you can find me on a nice day on my beach. I love the lake. I love that. And we just hang out and have fun. But I don't play pickleball. I'm not on a bowling league. Don't do darts. None of that.
Yeah. I don't either. If I have extra time, I try to sleep. That's what I do.
She likes to watch Netflix and chill.
That's right. By myself.
Ooh, your basic white girl showing.
I am. That's my basic white girl show. Also, the fact that I stop at Starbucks every day, even if I get plain coffee.
Into venti waters. I'm like, who does that?
Me. I do. If I'm going to pay that much for coffee, they're going to give me free water in plastic cups. And then we use those cups. So,
Oh, that's funny. So you open your cupboards and it's filled with Starbucks coffee.
Yeah, they're heavy. James is like, these are really nice cups. I was like, I know.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed our lighter conversation today. Once again, find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, The Everyday Cowgirl, all the things. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure that you like and subscribe to all of our platforms.
Yes.
Right?
And then remember, be bold.
Be brave.
Be humble.
We'll catch you next week on Wednesday. Bye, girls.
Talk to you guys later. Bye.